Hey everyone, welcome to AHRK Encounter. I'm your host Maha, and I'm so grateful to be on this AHRK path with you. Today we have a very special guest, an amazing VIP, and I admire her in so many ways, and I think you'll see what I mean after this interview. Together with our guide, we will be encountering visions and goal setting through the lens of leadership. So let's get started on our AHRK journey with this video.
AHRK is the lifestyle path to better choices. It empowers us to live life to the fullest and paves the way for people like you and me to discover our unique purpose and passion. Choosing to walk the AHRK path invites transformation and growth in 5 key areas of life: leadership, communication, mindset, community, and lifestyle. As we dive into these lenses, they redirect our focus and guide us into a deeper understanding of where we're at today and where we're going tomorrow. This is AHRK Encounter. Welcome to the AHRK Path.
Hi, and welcome to the AHRK Encounter. I'm Bernard Bashura, and I'm going to be your guide today. I am so excited about today's episode because I get to speak to somebody that I work with as frequently as, well, a couple times a week, and I celebrate it. Why? Because she is unique, and what's unique about her you're going to find out in a few moments. But let's talk about this topic: leadership through vision and goal setting through leadership. And it's a space that I live in. It's a space that I love. I celebrate. I'm challenged in this space because I'm always looking for something different and exciting, but not necessarily, reaching for that. Just in my life, where is my life leading me today, and how am I leading others and my community around me? And I love this space. So for me, this is going to be so much fun. Help me welcome Marina. Hi.
Hello.
How are you today?
Well, right now I'm nervous, but
it's
okay.
She should be. I have something in store for you.
Yeah, let's see where this goes.
So your toughest question, I'm right up. If you had to pick a leader that would just come to your mind, who would that leader be?
A leader?
Yes.
Huh.
What is your vision of a leader? Don't think too hard. It's that first leader, like your vision.
I think what comes to mind is more of like my mom, as she leads in her life with her kids and in church. She's a very background person. Like, you wouldn't think of her as somebody who holds a lot of things together, but a leader sometimes takes a step back sometimes to help other people move forward. And so I see for her personally in my life where she's led so well, where sometimes I'm like, wait, you are a leader even though you're at the back end of all the things that me and my siblings and other people are able to do. So it's not necessarily somebody like Martin Luther King Jr. Like Angie Ritchie, I love her. She's the president of my university. I love her so much. And she was on an AHRK Encounter. That was amazing. But I would have to say my mom, because she leads more so from the background, but she's still very strong.
Yeah, I love that. Well, if you said anybody else but your mom, I was going to complain it wasn't me. So she got me there, just to be honest about that. But I celebrate that. I mean, I think that's amazing because it's not having to think about what your vision, your lens of what a leader is. It just, boom, it came to your mind. And that's where your VIP comes in, and your value, your identity, and your purpose. It's just, right away what is your anchor point. What does it look like to think of someone that leads in your life, that models that for you, that you celebrate. Because what we celebrate, we imitate, and that's that's very important. I'm sad it wasn't me, but that's a different AHRK Encounter. Those are my issues. I have to deal with that.
Offense.
Yeah. But let's as we move through the AHRK path, we recognize that really we are unarguable. And I want to say we, and usually as a guest, but we work together, and it's we've looked at this lens of AHRK and AHRK Encounter, and where we recognize that we are unarguable. How is that something when you look at your mom and your engagement, and then that's a challenge because she is your mom, but what a role model and that she is in your life. How do you see that unarguable come to life in your relationship with her?
Unarguable, it's more of just like she knows who she is, but it's not like that she necessarily has to proclaim it to everyone, like this is what she does or this is what she believes in. It's just like she just flows. Like it's her, she's doing it. And so that's where I can see in her, like, where it's just like, oh, she's just her. Like, she's not necessarily holding on to what other people are saying or what other people are perceiving from her. She knows what she wants to do, and so she does it. So I would say, like, that's the unarguable part of her. It's just like she's moving forward, and that's what I admire, and that's what I'm growing into. So
I love that.
yeah.
And do you see that again? The topic is vision.
Mm-hmm.
And again, as a leader, how do you see your vision in your day-to-day life? How does that come out? And again, you're anchored in this conversation of leadership and owning, being unarguable, unshakable, undeniable. I am a leader, and then going, okay, what is my vision?
Yeah, and I think that's actually a deeper question than just a blatant like day to day, because I feel that with vision there has to be something of value, and in order to really like where I would say like what you manifest multiplies, and so it's like you're always manifesting or always outputting something and what's multiplying in your life, and if you don't have, I don't believe if you don't have value in yourself, you're not able to do something or believe you can produce something of value. So I think that that's where vision comes in. It's like, if you don't really see yourself as valuable, if you don't really see yourself as like unarguable, unshakable, or unique with someone who has a specific identity, especially me as a twin, or something with purpose of knowing like you can be in the same spheres as anybody else, but if you don't really know what's your specific convictions or your specific heart, you can really get lost in that vision. You can really get lost in even saying like, do I even have something that's worth giving out to myself or for other people? And so for myself, like vision from day-to-day life began more of with the ARC encounter, because I didn't really have a vision necessarily. I'm discovering more of like the overall vision for myself, but even in just the day-to-day, it was more of just like, I'm gonna do whatever I have to do to prove that I'm worthy of this, or to continue holding up this sort of like facade that's like, oh, isn't this what I should do? Get a 4.0, be a part of all these different things, show up for everyone. And so where I've come to discover my values and my identity and purpose, it's allowed me to see that my vision is to continue encouraging people to step into spheres and even wake up and know like, okay, I have responsibilities, I have commitments as a student, I have commitments as a worker for you and with ARC Encounter, but there can be that excitement in it too, to know that what I produce in day to day is encouragement, whether it's through ARC, whether it's through health coaching, whether it's as a youth pastor, whether it's as a sister, and they all have different kind of like visions for that.
You just pulled all of it.
Yeah.
You just pulled all of it together, and I love that. It's somebody that's meditated on this. I think that's what if we just said, well, we're just going to talk for the next hour, and you can fill that space. You meditate on that. You're trying to piece together your greater life vision, but you're doing it one day at a time. And I celebrate that, because you understand the pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Your family, your community, your education. You're a twin. I mean, we're not even going to touch that today, because that's a whole other ARC encounter by itself. But this reality of your vision plays out every day of your life. And so as we jump onto the ARC path, has that always been the case?
No. Even when I first kind of got an invitation, or more of just like this handed to me an opportunity to work with like, your company. I met Casey, I didn't even know you, but just it was the Circles Now app that we were doing. ARC wasn't even a thing. And I was like, okay, what do I have to bring to the table that their needs filling? And Casey just wanted to learn about me, and then I was just like, what do you mean? Like, what do you want to do? What is it that's inside of you? What's that purpose? Like, what's the long-term thing? Because all I thought about, what do I need right now with the pandemic, internship that might pay a little bit. At this point, it was more just focused on how am I surviving, that survival mode, rather than that vision goal. And even growing up, I would remember like waking up and being like, what's the point? Like, I have another AP US history exam or this, and like every day was just lived out of like fear and anxiety of, am I ever going to do enough? Am I ever going to do anything worth being noticed? Like, okay, like with a 4.2, I still felt super inadequate compared to the 4.5 or 5.0 students in my class. So then I felt like, okay, if I can't be the best in this sphere, then I'm not going to settle for either the highest graded person in a regular class. And so there was more of trying to be seen or trying to have something to prove. I felt like that's something as a college student still working on, of like, okay, like why am I very focused on grades here.
Correct.
And it wasn't out of like, yeah, you're doing a great job, where inwardly it was more of a fear to be like, this is the only thing I'm good at.
But it was daily.
Yes,
But
it was a daily thing.
It was a daily routine, daily ritual of recognizing that, am I going to get over this hump? Am I going to find this celebration today? And there's always tomorrow.
Yeah.
But the acknowledgement is really, it's a shift, and it's an invitation to our guests, is that your vision is here today. I love how you said, I don't know if I see all of it, but I'm working on pieces of it. And that's huge. And that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to keep walking, and your acknowledgement is that I keep walking every day with pieces of the vision and pushing off the past. And that's kind of where we jump into healing next. The celebration of acknowledgement is huge. I think it's just, doing the ARC encounters. Hey, let's just get to the conclusion, or the end part. But
celebrate.
Guys, but the celebration, this acknowledgement that I'm good right here. You are good right here. You don't necessarily need to see the entire vision, but just that you wake up and there's something new and exciting in your life today that you're working towards, I think is huge. Share with us a moment of healing about leadership. And again, I want to bring a whole lot of stuff into leadership right now. I'm going to bring the fact that you're a woman, and it's the definition of women, the transformation and change, and how society is changing that definition over and over again, as a daughter, as a student, and as you said, 4.2 is not really that amazing anymore. It was in my generation, but so let's stack all of it up. What was a moment of healing in your life as you started on the ARC path?
On the ARC path, I think it was taking that authority for myself. It wasn't necessarily like when I maybe spoke in front of people, or when I was invited for the first time to speak on here, but realizing and acknowledging that I am responsible for my actions, I'm responsible for my outcomes. And where we step into healing with that moment of leadership, it was knowing like, okay, there's a lot of things that happened in my past, or how I thought life would be, or how I couldn't do things, or I'm not capable of doing things. But when I acknowledge like, yes, that's there, but that doesn't need to continue, and that I can have a safe space, I think that's where the healing mainly came from with like you and Casey, of being able to know that this is a safe environment to really take out those pieces in myself. I think that's, as a leader, I realized like I need to lead myself well in order to lead others well. And so I think leadership started again with myself first, inwardly, and still more on the process of taking ownership of that towards other people. But inwardly, I think in the ARC path, it was just shift of like, okay, no, that's not how I want to think about myself, or that's not how I want to continue feeling, or maybe that's how I felt, or what other people thought of me. But I can start expressing myself more freely and having that freedom to discover myself.
Because just what I'm hearing you say is you discovered your voice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of interesting, and
you guys made me recognize I had one.
Well, but here's the thing is, but you're comfortable in speaking. So you're not one of those people that doesn't speak a lot. You can speak, and I don't say that in a bad way, but I'm saying it's just you're outspoken.
And that's the healing. When I was little, I was the shy one. Again, twin comparisons, all those different things.
Well, that's true, but you found that voice. So it's not just speaking, but it's just speaking with authority. It's just recognizing that as you speak, you have to own what you say, but that you have that authority, and you found healing in that voice. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's move on to restoration. And restoration is as we find that healing, we start moving from that place of healing. We no longer move from that place of hurt, that place of not knowing who we are, not knowing our identity. We move from a place of I'm healed. And for me, that's restoration. And restoration in your life, when you found that voice, how have you been using your voice?
Well, I've been using my voice one more so with like health coaching, or specifically social media, like with Facebook, and where I can share maybe like daily experiences or share hope, but knowing that there's that purpose, there's that vision every single day where I'm like, okay, what am I posting about? And it can be continuous, or, you know, maybe some random things, maybe not, but it's all to still add value to not just myself and my discovery, my expression, but to still add value for other people in order to give them, to allow them to see that they can have that freedom themselves, and not everything needs to be this kind of sort of way. And with my voice, of being able to just step into different places, not think about like, oh, like what if nobody else is doing this, or even just regular things like trying out ballroom classes or going rock climbing, like finding a sphere of like, okay, I'm not comfortable, or I don't really know exactly this, who's going to be doing this, or I've never done this before, but it's like, okay, I'm going to try this. And so seeing how the voice isn't just in what you speak, but the actions that you do, and change and shift based on who you're moving towards becoming, or what you're trying to discover about yourself.
So have you used that voice of authority in your work, in your office?
Yeah, you guys let me talk. You guys let me share my ideas, and that's the space you guys create, because you never say something like, oh, that was stupid, Marina. But even you celebrate that, and even if I might not be on top of something, it's still like, okay, let's move forward. You don't allow me, you don't hold on to that negative aspect, but I'm so used to holding on to that shame, where it's like the voice of shame isn't as much there in my life.
Yeah.
And so where it's just like this environment that's cultivated, it helps me step more into my voice of even knowing like, okay, maybe I messed up here, maybe I shouldn't have said that, and maybe I shouldn't have acted that way, but knowing that, okay, but I know that I'm not staying there.
Correct.
So
Correct.
that
And have you used
forward.
that voice in your home with your family?
I think the family systems are definitely more of the tougher part.
I left that to the end.
Yeah, because like with health coaching, being a youth pastor, it's kind of like sometimes depending on the growth or where you found your voice, it was already there. There wasn't any dismantling of what you thought of yourself or what others thought of yourself. But in family systems where you grow up with your family, where things are typical, it's knowing, for myself, I had to go through a lot of healing of being like, okay, can you please forgive me for concluding maybe a letter with hate you? Like, I didn't know that there was so much bitterness in my heart. Or telling my parents, I'm really sorry for being very sarcastic, or all these different things when I was a middle schooler or whatever, and learned that those were just coping mechanisms for some trauma that I was dealing with. And realizing with my family, there is healing in there, and there's still a big process of healing, but and knowing I've asked for forgiveness and moving forward, but not holding on to that for myself, of being like, oh, well, what if they think I'm still like this? Or what
So
if
not
they
moving
think
from
I'm
that space, moving from that space of healing and finding your voice in your home as well.
Yeah, and so
yeah, I like that. Well, and that's kind of where we jump into the kingdom. And what I'm trying to really, what I saw as you talked about where you found that healing and that restoration, we started living out that restoration. As we live out restoration in every part of our lives, that's what the kingdom is. And that's kind of, because I love you said a couple things going, where I found my voice in my school and social media, and then going, well, you found it at work, and you found it at home, and you found it everywhere you go. And so now you move from this space of, you have this voice of authority in every part of your life, in every space that you go into, and that's that kingdom voice. So how is that? How have you found the encounters? So as now you go into these spaces and you use that voice in these spaces, how has that been different for you?
I think it's been different in a sense of where when you discover your voice, it's more knowing, because you've established more of your values, identity, and purpose. It's like I don't enter spaces as much as like, oh, okay, like in that kind of like timid posture of like, oh, I don't know anyone, or oh, how is this going to go? But more of like, okay, let's just see how this is going to go. Even
confidence.
More confidence in that. And not to say like in every sphere that I enter, I'm like this, like very like, hello everybody. Like I'm not normally that type of person until I'm like comfortable, and that can go for basically anyone, but more so of like, I don't need to be affected based on what other people think of me, and that's something I'm still learning. Or more so what I assume they're thinking, like not even actually what they're thinking. And so that's where I've been growing even as a leader of myself, but also knowing as I lead myself well, I can help lead others well. Of like, I can't attach myself to what other people are thinking or to those offenses or what I think might be offense. And being able to enter into spaces, just holding on to the fact, like, no, I know who I am, and not letting people in my mind like take it away from me. I think that's the difference. I'm not allowing that to be taken away from me anymore. Nice. Where I would have been,
and that's
like,
that leadership space. Is
yeah,
that owning your voice, recognizing that as that vision, as I move into a new space, and it might be my home, the kitchen. I mean, that's a new space. Recognizing that as I move into that, and I own that space, I own that voice. I find that that peace that I'm anchored in, and that leadership just flows out, and that's kingdom. And that's kind of what we try to get is on the ARC path, is that every day, every moment of our lives, we need to be moving in that space, moving from a place of healing, but recognizing that that confidence, that strength, that wisdom of engaging each other authentically gets us into a kingdom space of living life and celebrating life every day. So I definitely enjoyed this. I hope you did as well. If you don't know Marina, get to know her. Join the ARC Path, and just reach out. Give us feedback on what you loved and about the space, and of course the encouragements to come back and do this again and again, and for you to step up and go, hey, I want to be on the ARC Path. I want to be on the ARC Encounter. Come and visit us. So we thank you for being here. We thank you for celebrating and working hard. And
thank you.
Looking forward to more. So here's Maha to talk more about the ARC Encounter.
Wow, what an amazing discussion. I love that Marina recognizes in order to take up leadership, you have to find the value within yourself. And Marina went through so many challenges in order to find her voice. And we know it's a process, but the outcome is worth it. And we celebrate that here at ARC. So I want to invite you to join our social community. You could find our Instagram, Facebook group, YouTube channel on our handle at ARCPath. For updated resources, you can visit arcpath.com. We also have amazing podcast sessions and courses to keep you going throughout the week, and you could find that through our app called Circles Now. It's been a pleasure to be with you. I'm your host, Maha, and I'll see you next time on ARC Encounter.